What's going on, team? What's going on, team? Welcome to the final isolation session for the week. Right, today is Thursday. Final trading session of the day is going to be tomorrow morning. Test. Alright, perfect. I hear myself. You guys have any questions before we get started? Let me know. Any pairs in specific that you want me to go over? Let me know. Anything at all? Any trades you guys took today or throughout the week that you want me to go over and do a little breakdown on? Let me know. If there's no questions about any specific pairs, the ones that we will be going over, the ones you see on the right hand side with the red flag next to their name, starting off with AUD-USD, finishing off with US oil, we will be going in order from the top to the bottom since this is the final isolation session. And again, tomorrow's Friday, you guys already know. Usually Fridays, I'm not really that active on the charts, so we'll just be going over the 30-minute time frame today. Just update our 30-minute highs, 30-minute lows, look for any continuation that we may have. So this session should be done pretty quick. Shouldn't take longer than 25-30 minutes. Mr. Bashir, welcome back, my brother. I'm fully back. Welcome. We missed you, man. Definitely missed you in the streams. Hope you've been doing well. Glad to have you back, man. We'll give everybody till 7:05, so we'll give everybody another 2 minutes to 2 minutes to join, and then we will get started. Again, shouldn't be a long session tonight, final session for the week, so let's make it a good. I got hiccups now. Let's make it a good one. Do what we gotta do, man. Again, any questions? You got 1 more minute. Any questions at all? Anything you want me to go over? Let me know. Oh, man. I miss you guys. I am great at dealing with stuff from 9 to 5 on poor network, but I found a solution to that. Perfect. Yeah, I know for you and for some other people, I know it is very late for you guys. I could only imagine, so. Alright guys, let's get started again. We're pretty much just gonna go over the 30-minute time frame. What I'm looking for is just continuations. So again, I'm looking for 2 days of rise or 2 days of drop, right? 2 days of the market going up or 2 days of the market going down, following the overall trend. If there's something that I have to take a step back and explain to you guys, then I'll do that. But again, for the most part, especially for this week, pretty similar to last week too, there's really not a lot going on the charts, right? There's really not too much to talk about. There's nothing new really happening. If you really notice the behavior of these charts, and a lot of them, right, we're going one by one so you guys can see. This is just on the 30-minute time frame. Like, price is really just moving sideways. We're just consolidating, right? If we notice it, right, for this pair, yeah, we went up for the week, right? But we go up, we go down, we go up, we go down, and then finally we continued a little trend from the end of the day yesterday going into today. But even looking at how price was moving today, like, yeah, we could say price went up, but realistically speaking, this is just crazy movement, especially from 3 in the morning all the way till 11 in the morning. It was just crazy candles, crazy wicks to the top side, crazy wicks to the bottom side, all happening, 30 minutes right after the other. So from 3 in the morning all the way till 11 a.m., it was just really just sideways movement, right? We can't really say that we're in a good trend here, when we're specifically speaking about the 30-minute time frame. When we're looking at how price is moving on a day-to-day basis, right? So, and that was EURUSD, so we don't even have to touch bases on the fact that we're in peak high territory. We already know that in peak high territory, that's how price moves. It's just gonna consolidate, right? Same thing we could see with EU, right? From what is this, 11 p.m.? From 11 p.m. pretty much all the way up until the NY session. It's just crazy candles, right? Crazy wicks to the top, crazy wicks to the bottoms, right? Quick push to the bottom, went right back to the top, went back to the bottom, gave us 3 candles back to back with crazy top and bottom wicks, to then price going back down for price to go right back to the top side. So it's just, again, there's not too much to trade. When we're trying to look for a trade, we're trying to catch the best entry going with the trend, right? To the point where we know we could catch a trade and we know that 30 minutes, an hour later, is going to hit TP, right? And a lot of these pairs, once again, when we're looking at them, that's really not the case. A lot of these just consolidate for a few hours, maybe even a few days, and then it starts to trend, right? And then once it starts to trend, that's when it starts moving. So again, I'm really not, my bad, Mr. Bashir. You said no questions because I wasn't even looking at the market for days, so I'm outdated. All good, man. All good, Mr. Bashir. Get your charts back in. You know, the good thing is we're already at the end of the week, right? This is the best time to get back on the charts and get everything updated. You know, obviously, you have me. You know, if you also want to message E and see if he has a couple hours available, you know, you could always message E, be like, hey, I'm back. You know, I'm gonna update my charts. Let me send you some charts. Or again, even if you guys want to send it to me, you could always message me. Be like, hey, I'm updating my charts. I have a few questions. Or hey, can you check my charts? Whatever the case is. So definitely use this time. Again, pretty much we're already on the weekend, man. So get your charts ready for Monday. Come back Monday and get everything you gotta do. Just got back from work. What's good, Mr. Albert? All good. Welcome, welcome. Hope you had a good day today, my brother. Hope you had a beautiful day today, man. So yeah, again, for a lot of these pairs, once again, we're really just gonna go over the 30-minute time frame, right? We know GJ. Oh, we have 2 days of rise. Yeah, could we expect a 372? 372 could happen, right? But again, it's just the area that we're trading in, right? We know we're at the 4-hour highs where price has rejected these highs many times before. Right, on top of the fact that we're trading lower low, lower high, lower low, price gave us another equal high, lower high point to then go right back down to the bottom. Again, in an area where when we're just looking at how price has been moving this entire week, it's just been sideways movement. Again, price pushing to the top side, going right back down to the bottom, going back to the top, going back to the bottom, going back to the top, back to the middle of it. Right? It's just sideways movements, just a whole bunch of noise, just trapping traders where one day you're trading and you believe price is going to go up, it goes up, but then it goes down, and then you think it's going to continue to go down, and then it goes up again. Just trapping traders, man. I don't want no part of that. I don't want to be a part of it. You know, I'm okay. I'm okay. The sideways movement, you know, all the people, you know, and this is why I always say, like, social media, especially when it comes to trading, it's one tool that, yeah, it could elevate you if you use it the right way, but then if you're not using it the right way, it's going to bite you in the ass. You know, all the people following that one guy who supposedly is on a $24 million trade on GU, man, I feel real bad for you guys. Because you guys don't understand the amount of, you know, posts on X, Twitter, you know, the posts on Instagram of so many people just losing trades, especially on a day like today where it's like, again, we talked about this. This isn't something we talked about in hindsight. Like after the news, this is when we talked about this yesterday. We talked about this on Tuesday. We even talked about this, I think, in the weekly market breakdown, where it's like, guys, we have news on a Thursday, NFP. Like, especially on a weekday where we have a lot of news. Right? What are the odds that price is just going to give you clean price action? And we know it's the possibility of it is fucking less than 50%. Like, really, I don't even want to go into the detail because we talk about this all the time. Like, this trading shit really isn't as difficult as people really put it out to be. Like, is it difficult? Yes, because it's a lot of information. But once you already know the information, It gets simple. It's the same thing. Like when you tell a third grader, you're gonna learn what 9 times 9 is. 9 multiplied by 9. Right? To somebody who's just learning how to do multiplication, that's gonna be the hardest thing. Right? But now at the age of 24, 25, 30 years old, if I ask you what's 9 multiplied by 9, you know how to say it like the top of your head. You know what 9 times 9 is, like like your first and last name. Right? You know what 9 times 9 is, like it's your birthday. It's going to be the same thing in trading. Right? It is difficult when you first learn it, but once you already know the information, you apply it every single day and you follow your system every single day, this just gets so much easier. All the rules you need to know, you're going to know them like your name. You're going to know them like it's your birthday. It does really get easier. So it's just being able to apply all the information that you have to really be able to look at the charts and be like, okay, this is a low probability trade, this is a high probability trade. Right? This is a day where I know I shouldn't be trading, or I know this is a day where I have to be on the charts. Right? So, my bad, Albert. You said, yeah, bro, I'm just exhausted, but I have to update the charts. I'll be sending some screenshots your way, my brother. Alright, no problem. I'll be here, man. That guy is lying with no proof of 24 million stop loss. Yeah, Mr. Bashir, that shit is crazy, bro. Like, the amount of crap that people just fall for online, again, it really does irk me, but at the same time, it's like, I don't let it bother me because it has nothing to do with me, right? Like, it really doesn't make a difference. But what bothers me is, again, all we've been want to do is try to help people, and seeing people fall for the same scams every single day, it just bothers me. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't sit right with me. But it is what it is. I was just explaining this to my homie about it. People think it's just so much information to be scared to get into it. Yeah, again, it's really not. Like, again, is it a lot of information? Absolutely. Like, I'll never be the one to say it's not a lot of information. Like, it is a lot of information. It is a lot of information. But the same way that when you go to school, you're in school to learn a lot of information, you know, you're taking anywhere between 4 to 6 classes a semester, right? Depends if you're full-time, depends how fast you want to finish. You could even be doing 2 classes, right? But on a regular, you're taking anywhere between 4 to 6 classes in a week for 4 years, right? So it's like, again, I'm not going to, it's just like anything, right? And this is like, whenever somebody is trying to start a business, if you're an entrepreneur, of course it's a lot of business, because in order for you to be an owner of the business, you have to do every single thing that it takes to be able not only to build but to sustain a business, right? Just because you're an owner doesn't mean you're just an owner. No, like, especially when you're starting off, you're not just the owner, you're also the employee. You're also not just the employee, you're the janitor, right? You're not only just a janitor, but you're your accountant, your social media manager, your editor, you're everything, right? You're the person, customer support, HR, you're everything when you're the business owner. So, yeah, is it a lot of work? Absolutely, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to be the one to lie to you, especially anybody who comes into business or anybody who comes into trading. Like, yeah, it's a lot of work. And if you're not up for the task, then that's okay. You could go do a regular job, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, there's a common misconception that a lot of people just bash people who work. There's nothing wrong with working. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to wake up stressed of being an owner. That's just the reality of it. Because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy the lifestyle of what it takes to be an entrepreneur, which is the process before you actually succeed, then there's no point in doing it. It's the same thing in trading. If you're not going to enjoy the process, which is learning, then you shouldn't do it. It's the same way people don't like going to school. If you don't like the process of going to classes and learning some bullshit ass classes before you get your degree, right? Especially in the States, right? If you're not up for the task to do your first 2 years and get your associates, then you're just not going to do it. It's the same way in trading, right? If you're not ready to put in the time to really learn and master this craft, then there's no point in doing it. And again, Steve Morrow says it the best. If you're trying to get into trading just for it to be a hobby, go find another hobby, because it doesn't matter what other hobby you're doing, it's going to be cheaper than trading. If you think you're going to get into trading just for it to be a hobby, go take up photography. It's a lot cheaper. That's facts. So that's the whole thing. Like, again, everybody wants this to be easy. Everybody wants it to be less information, but that's like saying you want to go to med school and it's too difficult. Give me less information. Like, what are we talking about? That's like if you're trying to be a lawyer and you go and you tell your people, oh, I don't want to go to law school. It's too much work. Can you dumb it down for me? Like, we can't. You need to be able to know this. You're going to have to be able to know everything that you're taught. So it's the same thing when it comes to trading. It's the same thing when it comes to being an entrepreneur and you want to, if you want to own your own business and have your own corporations and all this. It is a lot of work. You do have to wake up at the ass crack of dawn. You gotta wake up in the morning. You have to go to sleep late. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the hours. After you become successful, then you can take a step back and really enjoy everything. But at the end of the day, again, if you're an owner, you're not only just an owner, you're doing every single task. Especially if you have no employees. You're everything. So nothing comes easy, exactly. Nobody's coming to save you. Feeling bad for yourself is out of the question. You can't feel bad for yourself. You just gotta do. Again, it everything happens, and you meet people. Like, I'm kind of trying to figure out how I want to say this to not make people feel some type of way. So sorry for stuttering a little bit. But it's like, I really do feel like you meet people for a certain reason, and certain things happen in life for a certain reason. Everything leads up to where you're supposed to be, and you're supposed to learn something. Right. Albert said, just watch a short and a guy said he took 60K loan in the States to trade on the market and lost everything. Only if he came across this channel. Yeah. No, and there's a whole bunch of people that do that. Right. Not only in trading, but people do it again. You really gotta understand the misconception, the common misconception about trading is a lot of people think trading is gambling. So, another misconception is that trading is a easier form of gambling. So yeah, the same way that people take out loans to go gamble at a casino is the same way people take loans out to trade, because people think it's more socially accepted to be a gambler in trading instead of being a gambler at the casino. But again, the reality is that trading isn't gambling. The situation at hand is just that people don't know what trading is, and that's okay. Like, people act like they know what trading is, but realistically speaking, and I'm pretty sure it's like this everywhere in the world, not only in the States, but in the States, you only know about trading because of social media. Nobody's teaching you this in school. Nobody's teaching you this anywhere. There is no school curriculum. Maybe there is now. There wasn't any when I was in school. I'm lying. When I was in high school, we're talking about 2017, 2018. I did have in my entrepreneurship class, we did have like a little section where we actually went to a field trip to do something trading related, like stock trading related. So I'm pretty sure now there has to be something in high schools and even some colleges maybe, but we don't even have to go too deep, right? As of right now, there's really no curriculum that teaches trading. So the only thing you know about trading is what you see online. And unfortunately, just like every category, just like every niche, just like every community, social media really isn't a realistic standard to what it is. So it's unfortunate that the people who are learning about trading now on social media really think it's gambling. And if they don't think it's gambling, they think it's the easiest thing in the world because some guy who randomly just bought a car, even though his marketing is really good and he's selling his courses for $2,000, and he really makes no trading off of trading. He makes no money off of trading. He just makes his money selling courses. You know, it's just max to make it look like, oh, I'm a trader. But hey, come buy prop firm account to use my affiliate link. And when you go use a broker, use my code so I can get commissions. You know what I mean? And I'm selling merchandise. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, right? At all. I'm all for hustlers and I'm all for people making business out of thin air and scamming people. I'm all for that, right? You gotta hustle. You gotta do what you gotta do. At the end of the day, we all got people we gotta feed. We gotta feed ourselves. We gotta feed our family. So I get it. Do I like that? Personally, me, no, that's not something I would really want to do. To be honest, I'm just being honest here. Not really. It's not something I'm down for. But I understand why people do it. Again, we all gotta eat. We all got bills we gotta pay. Life doesn't get easier, right? At the end of the day, I also do believe, like, yo, we're all human. We could use our fucking brains a little bit. If you got scammed, it's because you deserve it, realistically speaking. Because you're just not doing enough information to figure out whether this person is real or not. It's like buying a sport ticket. When you go and you watch a sport, you go buy a ticket and you got scammed, right? Like, or you buy a concert ticket, right? You buy a concert ticket from a random person online. Like, you're getting scammed. You know you're getting scammed. So it's like, whatever. It is what it is. Um, Real trading isn't gambling? Yup, exactly. If he knew what 60K can do in my home country, oh lord. Oh, 60K. Listen, 60K is 60K. Touching on that, check tax, I got you. 60K is 60K, it doesn't matter where you're at. That's another thing a lot of people, whoa, what is that? Why is that guy riding a rocket? Wait, wait. That's crazy. Hold on, wait, so wait, leveled up traders, who's that? Level up trader. Whose firm is that? Is that somebody that we know? Like a trader that we know? Huh. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, again, you know, I'm sending that shit to E because we were talking about roll today. Like yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, yeah. I don't think he got bought out. I'm pretty sure is what you said. Is just he really saw that the firm isn't sustainable, and instead of closing it down, they're just gonna switch over and just give it to. It's not bad. What is it? Alpha Trader? Yeah, Alpha Trader firm. Yeah, and that's the firm I got the 100K with. So that's good. That means that they're actually a good firm to to trade with. So that should be interesting. Yeah, man. Again, we've always known it, and it's nothing new. The again, like the prop firm space, especially being an owner of a prop firm company, is it's really not sustainable, especially not in the direction that these guys are going in. It's is it sustainable for the business that has all the clientele? Absolutely. But is it sustainable for a new business to come in? Not really. It's not really a profitable business model. It's really not. Because again, you're not trading doing the firm how they're doing it, where they're a booking traders, right? Where you're not trading real life capital, you're trading just demo, and the reason you're getting a profit is because either A, these firms have investors, right? And they're pretty much just running off of other people's investments, or B, again, you're getting your profits from people who keep purchasing accounts and failing accounts. So, and again, we understand that 90% of traders fail. So realistically speaking, it is a good business model, quote unquote, because you have so many traders who are failing accounts, who don't even see their first payout. Um, but what hurts firms is when people who really do know how to trade go and start trading, and then they're getting 50K, 70K, 100K payouts, and after a month or two they can't pay them out anymore, right? Because it's a lot easier to run through 100K and lose 100K than it is to make 100K, especially when you're selling accounts for $13, $20, right? When you really start doing the math, like how many people need to purchase an account for you to make 100K in profits? Especially when everybody who's purchasing an account, they're just purchasing the minimum, right? They're purchasing $20 accounts. They're not here purchasing the 100K instant funding for $1,000. They're not spending 2,000 on a 250K account. They're spending $19 on a 5K, right? They might be spending $100 on a 50K, might be, right? So yeah, those firms, a lot of these firms, they're really very difficult, very difficult to be profitable as a business owner when you're doing prop firms. Again, there are some prop firms who do it correctly, right? 100%, we could agree to that. But for the most part, 90% of these firms are just here to collect a couple dollars, and then in a few months they go and they shut down, right? So again, me and E had a conversation about a certain individual earlier today, literally about like 2 hours ago. And I understand his point of view, and 100% I agree with it, which in the conversation concept that we were having when it comes to marketing. And but that wasn't really the conversation I wanted to have. Like I not that I don't care about the marketing aspect, because that's the biggest thing, but at the end of the day, we're not gonna be marketing the way these guys market their stuff, even though it works. Or I don't know. Again, that's just something I've always seen completely different. Like I am one to always say don't reinvent the wheel. Like if you know something works, stick to that, right? Especially when it's something that's proven to work. But I also believe that sometimes you gotta reinvent the wheel, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's a good thing with trading, right? Is that ultimately at the end of the day, I don't need the marketing to work, because I don't make money off of the marketing, right? I make money off of trading. I'm a trader. You know what I mean? So it's a different mentality. But I've always been this way. I've always been this way, especially when I had my business in the gaming side of things. Like, yeah, we did our thing that we knew worked, and that was always great. But how can you reinvent the wheel? What else could you do? What's different? And that's the thing again. Like, I don't want to mimic what these other guys are doing, especially when these other guys aren't even doing what they say they're doing, right? So to somebody who knows it's a scam, it sounds like a scam. Why would I, as a business, why would I post something that I know personally sounds like a scam, even though we know we're not scamming, right? That's the biggest thing. But I don't know. It is different. It is different. Like, I really don't care about what these other traders got to say. I don't care about anything like that. Obviously it's a little bit different when I've always said this, and I'll always, we could always agree to this, which is, if there's a trader out there that has information that we know we could use that information to learn something, and maybe use that information to get better at what we're trying to do, then yeah, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with learning something new. And again, you guys know this, especially the ones who've been doing the one-on-ones with me. You know, I try to learn every single strategy there is to learn. The reason why is because I am a firm believer that every strategy in the market works. Whether you're using fib retracements, whether you're using EMAs, or you're using harmonic patterns, or you're using order blocks, or just simple candlestick analysis, all of these strategies work. It's just how you apply it and where you apply it, right? Because again, it's very simple. If you take a double bottom, right? If you take a W formation when price is lower low and lower high, you're gonna lose the trade, right? Vice versa. If you take a double top, which is an M formation, and you take it when price is giving higher highs and higher lows, you're gonna lose that trade. So that's really the biggest difference. It's just market structure. Like again, I do believe every single strategy in the rules work, right? Every single strategy in the market works. Order blocks, fair value gaps, ICT, SRC, right? All of these strategies work. And I know they work because I've seen them and I've tried them, and I'm like, wow, okay, this shit does work. However, it's just like every other strategy. If you're not trading at the right time, right? If you're trying to take a sell position when price is uptrending, or when you're trying to take a position when price is consolidating, or vice versa, if you're trying to take a buy position when price is in a downtrend, you're gonna lose the trade. That's really the biggest key. It's not about what strategy you're using. It's all about market structure. Because market structure isn't a strategy. Market structure is the language of the charts. And if you don't know how to read market structure, you're not going to know how to trade. It doesn't matter what entry strategy you're learning. It doesn't matter who you're learning from. It doesn't matter when you learned. At the end of the day, if you don't learn market structure, which is the language of the charts, you're going to lose every single trade. So that's pretty much it, guys. There's really not a lot to look at. There's not too much. Oil could be a good one, a little 372. But this is pretty much the only trade that I've seen for today. I would have loved to have seen price giving us a valid break instead of just a change of character. But I do like that the EMAs on US oil are all downtrending, which is good. So oil is definitely one I'm going to keep an eye on. Outside of oil, I really don't see anything else, guys. Again, it's Friday as well. So that's pretty much it for this week, man. It's been a very slow week. The beginning of the week was really good. We did miss a few trades, right? We missed Bitcoin, we missed USD CAD, we missed AUD USD, which were pretty much the only three trades that we had on, coming into the week on Monday, which would have been perfect. It was just the timing of them, right? The timing of the trades were pretty off. Everything gave us the entry during Asia and London sessions. So unfortunately, it wasn't like we were trading during New York and we missed a trade. No, it was just I'm sleeping at that time, right? And it's all good. It happens. We're not always going to be present on the charts when the moves are given, and that's completely okay, right? So I'm gonna just go one by one again through these pairs just in case. But again, there's really not too much to talk about, right? GJ, I'm not classifying that as a 372. GCAT is another one I'm not classifying as a 372, just based on the area that we're trading in. GA is still lower lows and lower highs. EU, we're still in a pretty big zone of consolidation. We're in the middle of that zone of consolidation, so I'm not looking to take a trade in this area. We could say the same about GU as well on a higher time frame. Right, EuroCAD is in peak high territory, so I'm not going to be trading that. Gold is in peak high territory, so I'm not going to be trading that. EA is still moving counter trend, making lower lows and lower highs, so we want to be very careful with EA. AUD CAD is still moving counter trend, still making higher highs and higher lows, so we're also in a very big zone of consolidation. And then AUD USD is another one where we're still expecting price to give us a steeper pullback on a higher time frame. I want to see price continue this uptrend until we fill this gap up here on the 30-minute time frame. Once we fill this gap, that's when I would want to start seeing price start downtrending again. So it's either that or we're going to be looking for price to give us a valid break of these lows. So we'll just have to be patient, wait it out just a little bit longer, and that's pretty much it, guys. Any questions? Bounce on the 200 engulfing candle, maybe still low probability. Which trade are you talking about? Oil, maybe? I don't have an engulfing candle on oil. We had this one on the 4 hour that price already gave us a retest on. Unless I'm tripping, am I missing something? Oh, I am. Yeah. You're right. Daily time frame. Yep. Daily time frame has a nice engulfing candle, which is a very big stop loss, which kind of sucks. But we'll see. Daily engulfing. Good call on that. I didn't catch this. Right, on the 4 hour, right, we won't be on the 200. Daily time frame, we won't be on the 200. Yeah, this would just be like a nice little. We could have a nice little pullback on the 30-minute. It's not bad at all. Right, 5-minute structure doesn't look clean just based on how price action was today. Yeah, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Right, little inducement, lower low, and then we started getting a little change of character, higher high, and we're pretty much still trading between the change of character, higher high, and these lows down here. So we'll be patient with oil. Yeah, this little pullback that we have on the 30-minute off the 200 EMA does look clean. But we got to keep an eye on STP as well and ADR. Right, I don't think, let's do the math real quick. 128 minus 33%. 128 minus 33% is 85 pips exactly. So I really don't think we'll get this type of pullback. I'm 100% certain we won't get that pullback up to these highs. So we'll just got to be patient. We'll see what price wants to do. Right, the most ideal situation would be for price to give us just like a little zone of consolidation. Right, and then if price wants to give us a fake out, give a little type 1 pattern. Right, or even if we could get a higher little zone of consolidation, get a break retest, get a little type 2 pattern down. But we'll see. We'll see if price wants to give us, or if the markets want to give us an entry for this week. That would be very lovely. But we'll see. Any questions, guys? Any other pairs you want me to go over real quick? Anything else you guys want me to explain? Let me know. If not, that'll be it for today, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning for the live trading session. Once again, it's been a pretty slow week. Haven't really taken any trades. Haven't really done the live sessions either since we've been waking up and price has already hit the targets that we're looking for, which is very unfortunate. But week went by kind of fast. Yeah, really quick. That's why I don't like those long weekends, man. Right, those long weekends not coming in on a Monday and then yeah, it's just fucking week just flies by, bro. But the good thing is that it is the beginning of the month, man. So we still got all month to do what we gotta do. Any other questions? Any other pairs you guys want me to go over? Let me know. Anything else at all you guys want me to explain, talk about? Let me know. If not, that'll be it for today, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning for the live trading session. Good night, Mr. Bashir. See you tomorrow, my brother. Alright, guys. Peace out. See you guys tomorrow morning.